I've been in and out of my mind. Need to talk to somebody through all the things that I can't find. Everything in slow motion, maybe I'm wrong or maybe I'm right. Both share the same fight. Conversations in the dark, finding ways to find light.
All right, what's going on, world? This is Andre here, and I'm here with Nia, Justin.
Yo.
And this is Conversations in the Dark, the podcast talking about black men, black men's healing journey, and everything black men. We're really creating a safe space for brothers to be vulnerable, to ask questions, to share thoughts, experiences that they've had, and really creating a space where black men can be their most authentic selves so that they can enter a world and a journey of healing on a path towards wellness. And so we're going to talk a little bit about ourselves today, get into our platforms, how we support black men, how we support our own healing journeys, and what we're hoping to bring to the podcast. So I'll start. Again, my name is Andre, former math teacher, assistant principal, was an educator for 10 years in Atlanta, on the south side, hot Atlanta, in San Jose, and then up in San Francisco at Bayview's Hunters Point. Really, my platform is right now I have a consulting business where I work with different educational service providers, schools, school districts to help provide resources to create healing spaces, compassionate spaces where black and brown folks can thrive. And on top of that, I have a coaching business where I coach black men. I work with Nia on the Restoring the King platform via her RC Wellness brand to really coach and support black men to ascend and level up professionally and personally to being the men that they want to be, not necessarily the men that they feel like they have to show up as in society that we're told to be. So that's really how I support black men, and I have friends. Being a black man, I grew up around black men my whole life, played sports, so I have a wide network of friends that I count on and I support and that support me. And what I'm hoping to bring to the podcast is just my perspective. I really love engaging with multiple perspectives. I love engaging with folks. I love having fun, bringing joy. But most of all, just looking to learn and continue to share authentically about my journey, because I think in sharing about things that we go through that are vulnerable and spaces for us, it gives other people permission to engage in that same level of conversation. So that's a little bit about me. I'm going to throw it over to Nia. Just tell us a little bit about who you are, what your platform is, how it supports black men, and what you're hoping to bring to the podcast.
Yeah, so my name is Nia. I am a holistic healer and a licensed clinical therapist. Some of the things that I am looking forward to bringing to the podcast is just transparency and an opportunity to create safe space for black men and black women to have transparent conversations. The services that I particularly provide to black men specifically is my Restoring the King platform, which is a platform that's created to create safe spaces for black men to heal, transcend outside of their trauma narrative. And we create spaces through curating events, community aspects of connection, and our 3-month healing process that we take men through the self-actualization process of becoming their higher self.
And that's beginning in February this year.
Yes.
Cohort 4 coming through.
Yes,
and tell everyone a little bit about RC Wellness brand and what the larger vision is for the platform that you have.
Yeah, so the larger vision for RC Wellness brand is to provide a different perspective when it comes to therapy and treatment for black people's wellness. I think that, I know that the traditional psychological perspective that they utilize to diagnose us, to provide support for us, it wasn't created for us. We kind of just fit into a system that was already created to benefit other races, particularly European races. So RC Wellness brand is creating a narrative that's just for black people, that's created by black people to give us a different healing avenue to utilize just as much as you use traditional therapy.
That's what's up. FUBU, as they used to say back in the day. I don't know if y'all used to rock with the FUBU. For us, by us. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's great. I appreciate that, Nia, and I appreciate the space that you're doing, what you're doing, the space that you're creating, what you're holding for brothers like me and Justin. Right. It's very inspiring. And now I'm going to throw it over to Justin. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, what your platform is, how it supports black men, and what you're hoping to bring to the podcast.
So obviously my name is Justin. I am a self-taught guy who's wanted to start my own platform and podcast and network, and everything that kind of happened just like fell into my lap, to be honest. And I hope to bring to the podcast just like Dre said earlier, another perspective, just my perspective and my experience in life, and just being as open and honest as I can, as far as just in hopes of other black men out there being able to resonate and create affirmations, through my story and just what I've been through. And I'm all about creating opportunity. You know what I mean? So I want to create a space to where it gives. As black men, you think to be successful, you have to be like a rapper, an athlete, things like that.
Right.
So I want to show, black men and black women that there's other avenues out there, and just as far as creating content and just like I said, opening up, and me being a mental health advocate. And just like I said, going through my journey and taking everybody along with me. So that's pretty much it.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that you said that was super important is just the idea of like being a black man or even a black person is not a monolith, right? Like there's a spectrum, there's a whole sphere of planes that blackness exists on, and it's an abundant. And so I think it's, for everyone who's listening and joining in with us and will join in with us over the course of the season, next few seasons, just know whoever you are, however you come, that's who you are. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, we're not looking for fill no stereotypes. No, right. This is how being black or being a black man is. It's really open to everyone's individual experience. And tell everyone a little bit about the studio that you're opening and what you're hoping to create with that.
So again, I'm all about showing this lane as far as like the podcasting thing. So my studio is called 1122 Studios. It's birthed behind my daughter. Her birthday is November 22nd. And I want to help everybody create content, man. I think content is like the thing right now. I don't even have cable at home.
Hey, you ain't got cable, right. But you got content. Right, that's important, exactly, right?
Exactly. So everything is, the world is going into like this content based era, and I just want to be a part of that. I want to be ultimately a one-stop shop for everybody who wants to create anything. If you want to learn lighting, if you want to learn video production, if you want to learn audio, whatever it is, if you want to create merchandise, anything. I want to be that one-stop shop. I want my legacy to outlive me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to be to the point to where it's like 100 years from now, I'll have people saying I came from the Justin tree, whether I met you or not, you know what I mean? And that's one of my main goals, and I'm blessed enough to have people like yourselves and other people as well in my life to kind of help me get to where I'm trying to go. And that's pretty much it.
That Justin content tree.
Yeah.
Not the coach of the content tree.
Right,
that's what's up.
Right.
No, that's important, and I think you hit the nail on the head with the idea of just creating a space where we can thrive. Right. It's been so long, I think, since black folks have thrived in the aggregate. It certainly hasn't been within the last couple 100 years since we've been here, in the U.S. So I think it's important that we continue to take advantage of the new spaces and the new technologies and new era that we're coming into, and curating our own lane, and supporting each other with that. That's awesome. So now we're going to talk a little bit about, continuing on with this just intro episode, just a little bit more about the name Conversations in the Dark. And I'll just share, the name Conversations in the Dark really came from a song that Rod Wave had recently called Dark Conversation, and I started listening to it. And one of the things that I think he does a really good job of as a storyteller, and a lot of rappers do as storytellers, is bring us into their reality and their mind. And I think for me, when I heard the name and I heard some of the lyrics, it really helped me understand like the different places in my life and on my healing journey as a black man where the conversations I had existed only within the dark. It only existed within me in close confined spaces at night. Whether that was being a kid and coming home for basketball practice, being frustrated by a game or something, or, even later on in life with certain professional things or personal things I was going through with relationships, but just trying to bring those conversations that we have, inside of ourselves outside, and being vulnerable and sharing authentically from our perspective so that we can, create liberation not only for ourselves, but the pathway towards liberation for others. And so, I'm going to throw this back to you, Nia, and just ask you like what the name Conversation in the Dark means to you and what you're hoping comes for our community from this podcast.
Yeah, I think Conversations in the Dark is an opportunity for us to get authentic and really use that transparent voice that I feel like just through having a black experience, we get shunted and stunted a lot when it comes to like verbalizing how we feel and things that we desire and our individual perspectives about life. And so I think Conversations in the Dark allows a safe space for us to be transparent. And I'm hoping that that energy will inspire other people to start to have these conversations that really shouldn't be in the dark. But, you know, because we're just so shunned, we have a lot of conversations in the dark and we kind of get confused about who we are. So,
Right.
yeah.
That communication piece is so important. Justin, what
Vital.
about you? What does it mean to you, and what do you hope comes from the podcast?
It's actually, so for me, I'm somebody that's been through therapy and everything like that, and now I do this thing called like self therapy. I kind of named it myself, but it kind of aligns with Conversations in the Dark, because I have like check-ins I do with myself. You know what I mean? It's like those conversations I have just one-on-one, just in the mirror. You know, it doesn't literally mean in the mirror, but you know, just like a reflection of, you know, where I'm at in life, where I want to be, and you know, just trying to grow. You know, trying to continue my healing journey. And that so when you came up with the name, it like fit me perfectly, so that's why I was all on board. So yeah, that's kind of in as far as bringing to the podcast. My main thing is, like I said, just being transparent and hoping that there's somebody out there that I know for a fact. For me, starting my podcast was, I would watch other interviews and I would get, you know, affirmations and confirmations just of just hearing people who I don't want to say look up to, but just successful people, you know what I mean? And hearing that they would go through some of the similar things that I've been through, and that kind of made me feel more confident in myself. So that's kind of what I want to bring to the podcast, is just me showing that transparency and just, you know, hoping that everybody can grow as well as myself.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know why I thought when Jess said "Man in the Mirror," like I heard Michael Jackson playing in the background. That's the name
Me
for another
too.
podcast, y'all.
Yeah, right.
I'm
I heard that
staring
too.
at the man
I love
in
that
the
song.
mirror.
I love
man.
that song.
I can't sing, but I wish.
Yeah, same here.
No, but I think both of y'all bring up a great point of just the idea of, you know, how we're cultivating a space for other folks to step into, and really all Black folks, you know, and just being authentic and bringing those conversations, like you said, Nia, that don't need to be in the dark anymore, to light. And that's how we continue to ascend and get back to our place, you know, in society where we know we can create at a high level. And I think that brings, you know, us to like a couple of agreements that we definitely want to make sure that we abide by when we're engaging with each other, with the community. And I'll definitely, you know, I'll share them out, and I would love for y'all to just jump in if you have anything, you know, with that, or examples of how we can continue to do that. One of the things I think, you know, that starts off for me is really important is just, conversations to me are all about this idea of, I have my own perspective, and I'm engaging with and honoring the multiple perspectives around that conversation that exists. You know, there is no right and wrong, I think, here on the show. It's not about who's right. It's about, for me, empathy and learning and the journey of learning and what that means. I don't know if either of y'all want to jump in and share just anything from your perspective on that.
Yeah, I think that empathy is definitely a necessity. It also shows how you care about yourself. And I think that the more open you can be to different perspectives, the more community-based focus you can be. I think that in our community, we're taught to have like this survival individualistic mindset, and it just doesn't serve for progression. So I'm hoping these conversations can start to speak to that ideology when it's not just a thought, it's actually an action.
Right. I think the other one that kind of brings up, Nia, is just this idea of, when we engage with multiple perspectives, there can obviously be times where, you know, iron sharpens iron. And we have the opportunity. We were just getting into this before the episode got shot, right? But I think it's important to really recognize that, you know, we're going to have opportunities to challenge and push and further each other's knowledge, and keeping love at the core of that, and growth at the core of that, and doing that, you know, coaching with permission. Just, I don't know if you want to jump in and kind of share.
And I agree with that. I feel like it's more healthy than not to actually have those conversations. Obviously, me and Nia, like I said, are going to be arch rivals. So
Proclaiming that.
Right. But we and you know, I'm just blessed to have you guys in my life, you know what I mean, as far as just somebody to bounce my ideas off of and my perspective, because you guys are going to challenge me, and I expect to do the same for you guys. So for the most part, I think this is going to be interesting for everybody to watch, just to hear our perspectives, and then obviously this is going to be an interactive type show, so it'll be great to have people commenting and leaving things like that, and we'll eventually have some a way so people can reach out and send us topics and things like that. So
yeah,
I'm with all of that.
Absolutely. So if you haven't already, go ahead and click that subscribe button, y'all.
Please do.
And as you subscribe and as you join our community, the next agreement that we definitely want to highlight is let's remain confidential. No names. Any names will be like a straight flag on the play.
Right.
Hopefully Justin can drop a little flag, a little whistle on this part. And that's going to be more than a 15-yard penalty, right? That's like a 4th and goal,
right.
Defensive pass interference. The game is over. Like, we just want to make sure that we protect and respect everybody in the community. Share, your experiences, but don't call nobody out. That's not what we're doing here. And the last one for me is just this idea of Black joy to me, and that means being full of abundance. Despite the obstacles that we continuously overcome and do it in a way that we feel seen and loved. And I think we all can think about different experiences in our life where we experience Black joy and just this idea of abundance. And so we want to just keep that at the center of it. Black folks it's a lot happening to us, happening around us, happening for us. But ultimately we are the ones that chart our own path towards excellence, towards success.
And just to piggyback off that, what you said as far as the confidentiality and stuff like that, we mentioned we want this to be a safe space for everyone. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's like, obviously we're going to be sharing our personal lives as much as we can, as much as we feel able to, and we just really want to reiterate that it's going to be a safe space for everyone included. You
Right.
know what I mean? So obviously anything that we speak on the show is no shots at anybody. It's just our life experiences. People that we've encountered. Obviously we won't say names, but people that know us will watch this and understand that. Oh, he's
that
talking
scenario,
about me.
yeah. I'm talking about that one person you did.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's never to attack people. You know what I mean? It's just sharing our life experiences, and I've learned that with doing my podcast is the more I open up, the more people relate with me. You know what I mean? And that's the most fulfilling thing than everything. It's just hearing people, having people DM me or text me, or there's people that I don't even know, I've never met in person, who watches everything I put out, and they reach out to me and say what it means to them, and like that's what I feel like that's what my purpose on earth is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to be that avenue to for just opening up.
Absolutely. Any last words you want to add, Nia?
No, I think you guys did a great job. I'm just kind of like letting you guys be in your essence, and I'm just kind of sitting back. That's what I'm doing
She
this
waiting
season.
for her opportunity to ask the questions, y'all.
No, I'm just sitting back and just, that's another thing, I want to bring to the podcast is just a listening ear, because I'm always the one prompting or like directing. And so my hat this season that I'm wearing is just to receive. So,
That's a great hat to wear.
yes, it feels great.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate y'all. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long season of episodes that are hopefully going to bring a lot of, not hopefully, they are going to bring a lot of healing for not only us, but those who, join the community. And we're hoping that you hit the subscribe button, you shared this with your network, and join the conversation. Conversations in the dark, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Yes.